So, about a month ago, I went to the theaters with a few friends to watch a movie and have fun. Throughout that 1 hour and a half we spent there, I noticed something I've been noticing for a long time. It is the same thing as any other kids' movie I've recently watched. It follows a pattern. Have you ever noticed any similar aspects between the movies? In my honest opinion, as a kid, teenager, or whatever 13-year-olds are called, the world is changing. Internet is changing, movies are changing. Even teens can see that. The internet is changing the world drastically. And one of the things that amuses me about most videos, movies, or shows is how stimulating through a significant amount of dopamine they are. In other words, they only bring up content that triggers attention and creates the impression of satisfaction, when it actually is only creating a certain addiction to short and explosive information presented on screens. These movies, these shows, are made purely to entertain and make kids busy with shallow content. They don't add anything to them. What are they bringing to us? This algorithm that movies follow, this algorithm is moving the movies industry. This algorithm is a consequence of studios being afraid to risk themselves into new developments, new stories. Stories that are actually going to make kids feel any sort of strong emotions. If you notice, most of these movies don't have any sort of scenes where there is a significant change or permanent change, such as the death of a character or when a character gets lost from his family for a really long time. This is an aspect we can observe more in older movies, such as The Lion King, where Simba's father, Mufasa, is killed, and now Simba is alone and doesn't know the way home. Or in the movie Bambi, where Bambi's mother is killed by hunters. Even though these movies had strong scenes, they were part of many childhoods. And these scenes are a crucial part for a child's movie. They are a crucial part for these movies to happen. Nowadays movies don't have this kind of scenes. Nowadays movies are not made with heart, they're not made with soul. They're not made to inspire the child that is looking at the screen. They don't take enough risks. What are they bringing to us? They are the same beginnings, the same endings, the same stories. According to a study by ICT, it is crucial for a child to experience strong emotions such as sadness or frustration. These emotions not only help them developing a rational mind and emotional intelligence, but it also helps them solving simple problems we can easily solve. Problems such as boredom or daily challenges, believing they have the skills to solve them by themselves. And sometimes understanding that things are not always going to be their way. These emotions and emotional growth may come from movies. Movies, in order to create meaning, in order to teach lessons, they might have to reach certain topics. Many parents are afraid to traumatize their kids with such, which may not always be true. They might be keeping their kids from watching actual educational and inspiring films. In the end, inevitably, it is a decision for parents to make. Whether show it or not, it's their child. But believe it or not, it is essential for kids to grow, to be exposed to themes that can trigger this sort of emotions. To illustrate all that, I would like to present a personal story of mine. When I was about 9 years old, I watched a movie with my mom. It was actually a musical. And in this musical, it had a bit of violence, and at some point, one of the characters died. Its family suffered his loss. It was a visual suffering that really impacted me. It was death from a new point of view. In the end, though, I felt I grew after watching this movie. Even though I cried until my body was so dry I couldn't produce any more tears, I felt I grew. I understood that death is a part of life, a part we have no control of. It helped me understanding and controlling my emotions in this type of situations. I truly felt different that day. Now, remember I mentioned an algorithm nowadays movies follow. What exactly is that algorithm? What exactly this algorithm follows? Well, most of these movies have this one main character. A main character with similar personality and determined to do something against all odds or rules. In the end, they get exactly what they wanted. That is a problem. But another problem is, there isn't really a story to tell there. If you didn't watch the middle of these movies, only the beginning and the end, it wouldn't change. Because there isn't a story to tell. You might be thinking, yeah, okay, they're simple, but they're for kids. It needs to be simple, but it doesn't. They can be complex, with a unique story. Simple enough so a kid can understand. But in the eyes of an older person, such as teens, adults, elderly, whoever is watching, it is still a deep and beautiful story with many meanings and interpretations possible. I would like to present one last story to use as evidence and support my statement here. I want to tell you about this one studio, one I keep deeply in my heart, one that made the most iconic movies of my personal childhood, and for today's homework, I would like you to give it a try. This studio has made many, many amazing movies, movies that impacted generations around the world. What makes it so special? They were different. They took risks. They were not scared to show themes that could trigger some emotions. And even though they showed them, never showing inappropriate content, they were never violent. And they could reach themes about simple people, simple lives, later on developed to something more interesting. But they could reach it, and at the same time, being complex. You might have heard of a movie called My Neighbor Totoro. It is about a family who moves to a country house. There, they meet many distinct animals, fantasy animals. As Totoro, who is a big blue bear, but cute and empathic. This movie teaches us about enjoying the beauty of every moment. It teaches us about helping each other, being kind. At the same time, as it teaches us and shows us harsh themes, such as the uncertain death of the two little protagonists' mother, two little girls, too young to understand and process everything that's going on with them. The studio I'm talking about is Studio Ghibli. They were so praised. They won many Oscars and prizes. That is because they were different. They took risks. They were not scared. Things that nowadays movies cannot do because of their generalized scenario. To sum up, this algorithm has modified movies. They don't have the impact a kid needs to grow. There is always better options to show, better movies to reconsider. Though, I'm not trying to tell you, hey, don't go to the theater. Hey, don't watch that movie or that movie. That's not it. I want you to reflect. Do movies need to restrain themselves into not showing certain themes? Or could they dare to be different? Thank you.